Hello, hello. How is everybody? All right. So let me grab my phone. This is your time, guys, okay? Where you get to ask questions and I get to answer them. A lot of you, this is more for the group, but I went ahead and added YouTube and my personal page. So because I did that, you guys have to, I'm going to post in the comments. You have to click that link. It's a Facebook thing, guys. Okay. Not a me thing. So I just posted in the group. It says StreamYard.com. And it's also in that scrolling thing. StreamYard.com/Facebook. And then you click yes. You know how your picture shows up in the circle? That's all it is. It's Facebook saying, hey, in the group and on my personal page, I can see your comments and your little circle picture. It's the stupidest shit. It already shows on Facebook. Why do they make it you do that when you're streaming? It's so dumb, but you have to do it. So click that link. All right. StreamYard.com, StreamYard.com/Facebook. Okay. So click that and then I will be able to see who's posting. Okay. Because I'm going to answer your questions live here. And I'm going to go on to the group and I'm going to look at the questions and I'm going to answer those. Okay. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raven Woods. I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks IEP. And I help parents gain the knowledge and the confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. So with that said, let's get started. One of the things, you may hear my puppy cry because I just put him in his little playpen. The other thing is post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. All right. You guys know who you are. All right. So a 1 below in the comments. There goes my puppy. He'll stop in like 2 minutes. If you're new, first through third time catching me live. 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. After 3 times, y'all are oldies but goodies, okay? That's how it works. All right. So let's do this. That's my puppy. He's in his playpen. He is fine. Nobody is torturing him. Okay. So I'm pulling up the group. There's some really good questions. So we should have a really good Q&A because there were some really good questions. And if you have any questions right now, not written down, just post them and I will answer. Okay. I know it's early, so who knows who's going to get on here, but at least you guys will be able to catch the replay and hear some of the questions. And then we're going to do this each week. All right. So I will post again, post your questions below, and you'll have the opportunity to do that. Okay. If it's something you need to answer to like right away, just message me, preferably on WhatsApp. I will post that information here before I hop off today. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go under the post where I put, going live, post your questions. And there were some questions there. Hey, Kristen, you said something. You said, post your questions here. Raven may be able to give advice. I guess you're talking to your friend, Adrian. So maybe she's on here. You should text her. But Adrian said, okay, help mamas. My nephew was exposed to COVID and had to miss 10 days of school. My sister got an email today that his at school therapy session will be counted as absences and they cannot be made up, which is true. Okay. So if you're sick, then they don't have to make it up. All right. Your services. But if the service provider is sick, and here's where the crazy things comes into play. My puppy has stopped. He sees me. So he's crying. I may have to go get him. How that works is if the service provider is absent, then Leo, hush, that service provider, okay, has to then tell you, which they don't. and then they have to make it up. Okay, so they have to email you and say, hey, I was sick on such and such date, or I'm not going to be here. I'm taking off on such and such date. I'm going to need to make up Sarah's, speech therapy. This is when I can do it. Usually, as long as it's within like a 2-week period, that's fine. And it just keeps that transparency and that flow of communication. So again, if you're absent, they don't have to make it up. If they are absent, they do have to make it up. Okay. All right. And they even have to make it up. Say the speech therapist quits and they don't have a speech therapist. They have to put in writing that they don't have a speech therapist. They're looking for somebody and that you're going to be owed those services. Okay. So hopefully that answers your question there. He has to have a certain amount of therapy hours according to his IEP. And now they're saying they can't be made up. They can't. You're shit out of luck. Sorry. All right. So Jamie, I'm wondering how long schools, and this is Jamie Glenn. All right. And I'm going to message these people and let them know that I responded here live. All right. And again, post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live, 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Make sure you click that link above. It says stream, and it's scanning too. It's StreamYard.com. My puppy's going to drive me nuts. StreamYard.com/Facebook. And it's a Facebook thing. So if you're on my group or on my personal page, which I'm streaming on my personal page because I know there's been a lot of people on there that have messaged me about what I do. So hop over to the group because I'm not going to be streaming on my page that much longer. Okay. So post a 1 below if you're an oldie, but if you're new, first through third time catching me live. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Also, click that link so I can see who you are. So whoever the Facebook user is that said hi to, I can't see your picture. So go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. All right. It's right there scrolling. See where it says StreamYard.com/Facebook? Just do that. I may have to go get my puppy because he's going to drive me nuts. Okay. So Jamie says, I'm wondering how long schools have to provide the services and an IEP. Leo, shh. I wonder how long my school have to provide services in the IEP. My son's IEP was amended in October. Do you hear this puppy? I'm going to have to go get him. My son's IEP was amended in October to include private transportation, but the school keeps blaming staffing issues and nothing has changed yet. Let me go get him. Hang on. All right. Come here. Rotten. And come say hi to everybody. This is little Leo. He's so precious. Look at his little outfit. Isn't it cute? I love it. All right. He's rotten. All right. So let's finish. Hey, Christina. Wow, that's good to know. I feel lucky. My son is in quarantine also, and his teachers and therapists are making up everything. Yeah, that's good. I mean, you can always ask, but legally speaking, they don't have to make it up if you're absent. All right. Happy New Year. Whoever said that to me. I have 3 people that just says Facebook users because I can't see you. So go to StreamYard.com, that's StreamYard.com/Facebook and click yes. And then your little circle picture will show up. It's a streaming thing with Facebook. That's all. All right. So Jamie, it was amended. She's saying it was amended in October, including private transportation, but the school keeps blaming staffing issues and nothing's changed yet. Well, Jamie, can you see me now? I can, Gina, I can. So yeah, and post questions. Anybody hopping on now, I'm going to answer your questions too. I'm just on the group right now answering the questions that were already posted. So, Jamie, Glenn, all right. If it's in your child's IEP that private transportation, you're saying it's amended. So if that private transportation is put into the IEP, all right, then it's a denial of FAPE for them not to provide it. Okay. I get, we all get staffing issues, whatever, things happen. It's fine, but it's not fine because at the same time, it's a denial of FAPE and a um, non-implementation of the IEP. So they're not following the IEP with fidelity. So that's kind of that catch 22, where school, I tell school districts, I have empathy for you. I have a daughter who's a teacher. I mean, I can't imagine all the things that she goes through. You know, I have an educational background. Then, I mean, just being human, I get it. And, I feel for teachers. Puppy thinks I'm talking to him, so he's like standing there. So cute. And so I get that part, but I'm on the other side now. All right. And I actually really love this side. And I love advocating for kids, but I hate IEP teams. And, I've been listening to other advocates. I'm going to tell you guys this really quick because I've really been questioning myself. And if you guys want to add your 2 cents, I would be happy. Please keep it positive or constructive criticism. But I've been questioning myself because I feel like, okay, honestly, sometimes I come across as just a hard ass and, sometimes just not sometimes, I am very direct to the point. No bullshit. I mean, that's just me. It's who I am. And, but I do get things done. Does it happen always right away? Heck no. But does it happen? Yeah. Whether it's because they get sick of me or they know I know the laws or whatever the case may be, I don't care. What I care about is at the end of the day, children get what's needed and appropriate. And the reason I've been checking myself and trying and like questioning myself is because I'm like, you hear other advocates and there's no names, there's no ill will or negativity or anything like that. It's just they seem so nice. And I'm just like, what am I doing wrong? Am I doing something wrong? Like I'm like so in left field. I'm like, I'm here on the East Coast, they're in the West Coast. Not really. They're not really in the West Coast. I'm just saying that's how broad it's like the autism spectrum. It's like so broad, like from here to God knows where is how these kids can vary, right? And I'm just like, wow, we're like night and day. And, then, I say to myself, like, okay, well, I don't want to be like other people. I want to stand out, whether that's good or bad to anybody. I'm okay with that. I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea for sure. And, but I am a no bullshit kind of girl, and I don't tolerate the stuff that happens. And I've noticed, my friend Karen, she's the special education boss. She's fabulous. I love her. And she's one of the very few advocates I would ever recommend. And she knows her shit. And she's feeling it now. I can tell by her her lives. We're both on TikTok now. I love how she shares my TikTok. So if you're out there, Karen, thank you. I love you. And it's because TikTok, I try to show my personality. On here, I try to answer your questions. And obviously you see, what I know and my knowledge and, so many of you have grown to love and trust me. And I really love you guys for that. I become friends with my parents. And it's nice. It's a nice relationship. But it's hard, like when I'm so different, from many other advocates. And I'm hated with a passion by the attorneys. And, what Karen was telling me the other day, she was like, Raven, they're in your IEP meetings because they know that you're no bullshit and they're intimidated. They're scared. No. What do you got in your mouth? Give me that. Oh my gosh. Puppies are like babies. If anything's on the floor, they get it. Look, it's one of my daughter's beads. See it? Like we got her like one of those, like, to make their necklaces and stuff. Okay. So I don't put up with the lies, I don't have tolerance for it anymore. I've been doing this too long and I have no tolerance for the lies anymore. I have no tolerance for, I was just in an IEP meeting a little bit ago, and we have a child that is nonverbal. And I just put this on my TikTok this morning, and he's nonverbal. He gets 3 times a week OT, 1-to-1, and he gets 2 times a week for 15 minutes speech in a group. And he's nonverbal. And I was the first one in the meeting. I was like, how does that make sense? I mean, you guys are educators. You're supposed to be making the right choices and decisions for these kids. And what happened here makes no sense. You give them 3 times a week at 30 minutes of OT, but 2 times a week at 15 minutes in a group. And the OT was 1-to-1. And then 2 times a week at 15 minutes in a group for speech, and the child can't talk. Like, how is a group going to be productive? Group is very successful. A lot of science and research behind it for gen ed kids. Barely any for special ed kids. And there's no real summary of it, because if you have Raven with one IEP and Sarah with another IEP, Raven gets 30 minutes twice a week. Sarah gets 30 minutes twice a week. Neither have the same goals. How is the IEPs being followed with fidelity in a group? If somebody can answer that question for me, it's driving me crazy. I can't answer it. There's no answer for that. But schools do it. It makes no sense. Group should be eliminated from special education for at least a period of time for all children until they're at a certain point. And then when they're in a group, it should be with gen ed kids, not other special education kids. It's kind of twisted how it is, because the progress is going to be made by them being put in a group with gen ed kids doing the things that they should be doing on grade level. And even if they're not on grade level, but they're speaking now and they're doing different things, and then they're able to really have that dialogue. Now, how that's going to happen, how they would work that out, I don't know. But it doesn't make any sense, no sense at all, to put them in with other children with needs and to think that both of those children are going to make progress. It's just not going to happen. You have no need to question yourself. Oh, well, if they don't like the directness, that's on them. Keep doing you. We don't need the BS. Everyone would stop sugarcoating things. Yeah, I just don't sugarcoat things. And I don't, my thing is I'm totally for the teachers. And, that post that I made, where all the teachers answered my question of, it was 95, I think it was, when I started commenting here and made a comment here and on the page, but it's grown. And my question was, to teachers on a teacher site, I said, is anybody told by their school administration to be quiet in an IEP meeting? And almost everybody said yes. There were a few people who said, one was like, no, I don't let them do that. I'm here for the kids. Thank God we have somebody like that. And others said no. But I would say less than 10% said that. And then others said, only talk when you're spoken to, kind of thing. Less is more. I got a lot of that. But that's horrible. It's supposed to be a team collaboration. You're supposed to all talk. You're supposed to be collaborating about this child, but your less is more? I don't get it. All right, let's continue with these questions. Post your questions below, okay? If you're just jumping on, post a 1 below if it's your first or third time catching me live, a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. I'll post again the link you need to click, StreamYard.com /Facebook if you're on the group or on my personal page. I just posted it, but it's also scrolling at the bottom of the screen. All right, so Jamie, hopefully I answered your question. Again, it's a denial of FAPE if they're not providing the transportation that's in his IEP. So then we have Heidi. She asked if she missed the Q&A. You did on that day, but I didn't do a Q&A, so here I am now. I would love any help or resources getting the school to understand masking, in particular with older girls, and autism burnout. Being so sensory overloaded, they literally can't go to school. The school doesn't understand these things. There is no problem at school. but this causes a mental health crisis. Okay. I'm trying not to answer questions, a lot of questions in reference to, hi Cheryl, how are you? To like COVID, politics, religion. But in reference to masking, I mean, I just say go with what you believe. If it's not mandated by your governor, whatever it is that you feel you need to do, you do that, you know? Um, as far as schools and a child with special needs, you can be exempt from wearing a mask. They cannot make students with special needs wear masks. So if you're one of those parents where you're like, my kid won't wear a mask, or my kid, is it's too much for them, or it's causing, obviously, mental health is a huge issue, then don't wear a mask. It's got to be a personal decision, not a Raven decision. So, that's all I'm going to say about the mask part. So, unless it's mandated by your governor, obviously it's a you choice, unless it's, a policy of wherever you're at. And you need to do what is best for you and your family. So Facebook user who said, hi, I just came in, do me a favor and click that link, streamyard.com/Facebook, so I can see your picture and who you are. But I will read your question. Your question is, I just came in. My son has an aide during class time. He is in general ed. However, when his aide is not there, no one else is there. Are they supposed to find a sub when his aide is not there? His teacher tells me he's doing better by himself now than before. Okay. So my answer to that is nothing is needed or required if it's not in your child's IEP. So if your child has a direct one-to-one or a pair or however they worded it in the IEP, then they are mandated by law to provide the one-to-one for your child, no matter what. Now, obviously, with the problem, I mean, even before the problems these days, they had issues. People were sick, or they didn't have someone to come handle that child because that person was with somebody else or whatever. It's an issue, but it's also a denial of FAPE, and not following the IEP with fidelity. It also can be considered possibly an OCR complaint of discrimination, if somehow it can fit under, depending on where it is, if it's an accommodation that you have a one-on-one or a para, then, or a service, then it could be considered an OCR complaint, which is Office of Civil Rights, okay, of discrimination. All right. So that's that. And that's it of those questions. So let me go to the group itself. Okay. So Tina Carrera posted again. And she says, someone said, miss seeing you. I don't know who that is. Go ahead and click that link, Facebook or streamyard.com/Facebook. Does anybody else have questions? Okay. All right. So it's streamyard.com/Facebook, and it's scrolling at the bottom of the screen here, but it's also in the comments. Okay. All right. So Tina says, oh my God, it's me again. I just want to know the law. My daughter is 9. I realize how serious this is. She has ADHD and other disabilities on an IEP, and I'm quite sure she doesn't realize how serious it is. The principal called me. She is suspended for the rest of the week. She can go back Monday. If I would like, I can have a meeting on Friday to discuss how to handle this. she earned her badge, and now they gave her a pocket knife. Her dad took it. So I guess she earned a woodworking badge. And so she had a pocket knife. Well, I check her backpack daily. Um, so we knew it was wrong. He told, and it's kind of jumbled. So I'm sorry about that, Tina. I'm not really sure what your question is, but I'm sorry about that. All right. So the next question, Tiffany Shaw. She says, had the worst IEP meeting today. This was 18 hours ago, so that was yesterday. I am sorry about that. Her son's 8, just diagnosed with autism a month ago, has ADHD and a reading disability on his IEP. Before holiday break, I gave the report to the school for the new ASD diagnosis. They called last week to have an IEP meeting. I was confused due to not requesting one, and no review was due. Meeting time came, and there was 9 people in the meeting, and I joined in. They hit me with wanting to move him from IEP to 504. I got heated and I ended the meeting and refused to make changes. They stated they would send me recommendations, and I could review and agree or disagree. They did not provide data, and we had been notified before school released for the holidays that he was requiring more redirecting. So we met with doctor and adjusted his meds, only to find out 3 days later the teacher had moved his desk location. He was sitting in the middle of the room. The different students in his group, with different students in his group. I requested him to be moved back. Yeah, it's a book, guys. It's a book. I requested for him to move back. Lost my spot. All right. As it was nothing, he did it was because of a different student's behavior and he needed closer to the teacher. So med change may have not been needed and they want to remove him from testing at his level reading and removing him from the IEP. I did call the support office, but not sure how to deal with this. So upset and just feel that my turning in his new diagnosis triggered them to want to get him off the IEP for some reason. Okay. So how that works, all right, is okay. So how that works is schools can recommend your child to go from an IEP to a 504 if more of their needs are based along the lines of services, or not services, I'm sorry, it's not services at all, of accommodations and modifications. Okay, so it's based off of the Civil Rights Act, okay, and you're very limited, okay, for a 504. If you have a 504, you're limited to what can be given to your child, and it's in line with, it's called the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. Yeah. I remember that. And so it has to do with handicapped persons and federal assistance, and they're protected under the 504, and the rights that they have as individuals with disabilities, and how they're going to be supported. So that's their accommodations and modifications in the educational setting. But if your child qualifies for an IEP, all right, how that works is, if your child, say your child is in gen ed for everything and is fine, but just has a speech issue, a physical therapy or OT, whatever, then they would have an IEP just for that OT, speech, whatever. So there's various reasons children can get IEPs. And so that's important to remember as well, that it doesn't have to be academic. Okay. But if a child receives a service, it has to be an IEP. So if your child does not receive a service for having autism, which is very rare, okay, Miss Tiffany Shaw, all right, it's very rare to not have any symptoms or any issues in the educational setting at all, because that's what I'm seeing you say. All right. And then basically what happens? Nothing, Um, that's tough. So basically within 10 days, they have to provide you with a PWN saying that they're going to switch your child from an IEP to a 504. You then have the opportunity to pursue due process or mediation and go from there. All right. But you also have to make sure that they've done evaluations, that they have data to back up their decision. They can't just pull out of thin air, oh, we're switching your child from an IEP to a 504. They can't do that. All right. They just can't. All right. So Adrian Hammond. Okay. Help mamas. My nephew was exposed to COVID and had to miss. Okay. We answered that question. Jenny Jackson, she says, I am the stepmom. Our son has a seizure disorder on top of everything. They have moved again and now an hour and a half away. I am a huge advocate for him. And so it is frustrating as now they are trying to pull the we can't talk to you card, but whenever they need signatures for medical need, etc., they were sure to send our way because they didn't receive everything they needed. I recently sent the court order with a nice letter to each member of his team, signed Dad and me. I don't know what to do and I'm getting very frustrated. I know I'm a birth mom. I'm not a birth mom. Um but what's right? What rights do I have legally, if any? I want to push forward with going beyond the school level to advocate for our son, to make the school aware of what rights are included, not pushed aside. We are the ones asking the questions and are all about safety and schooling. Okay. So basically, as the stepmom, you don't have any rights. Okay. But I'm not related to any of the children that I support. Okay. So you just have to have a consent form. All right. With certain things that have to be in it. And so that's all you need. But you don't have rights, meaning without the permission of the parents, kind of thing. So both parents have to sign a consent form saying that you can be given any of the documentation, that they can talk to you, whatever the case may be. All right. So that's number one. You have to get that signature from the parents and that consent form. Then you send that off to the school and then they have to talk to you. Okay. Per FERPA. All right. Any records per the parents or student, once the student's 18, permission, they can give anybody access to their records. All right. So it really doesn't have anything to do with your step parent or the neighbor. Anybody can get hold of a child's scholastic record as long as they have the written permission from the parents. Okay. So hopefully that answers your question. I'm not sure if I answered this one before. Let me see. I could have, so I don't want to answer it again if I did. I don't think I did. All right. So Terry, post any questions you have below. Okay. Oh, let me answer these. Okay. So I'm going to start with Christina. All right. So if your son's EC teacher left the school and they don't have a replacement yet, what would be my next step? He is saying that he is going to the library with the EC kids and no teacher is directing them. So he was doing nothing. So the special education teacher is going somewhere else and not teaching the kids. Clarify that for me, Christina. Are you saying that your child's left, with like a para or something for a period of time and not what? What's happening? I'm just trying to figure out what exactly you're trying to say. Yes, correct. So how long is she gone for? I mean, she is allowed to leave the classroom, to go do something with other kids, she is allowed to do that. So what? The main EC teacher left and they have no para, no teacher. So who's in there? Substitutes? Is that what it is? All right. Let me know. All right. So I don't know who said miss seeing you. I wish I did. Trying to figure out how to move your thing. No clue. I'm gonna figure it out. Let me see if I can put this one up. All right. So Kim says, when your child is transitioning from one school to another, what should I expect in the meeting they will be holding? So in a meeting they will be holding, dependent on what a transition meeting isn't anything really that different. So it's really just about what it is that you're going to do in reference to the IEP, or if there's any changes that need to be made, or, when a child turns anywhere between 14 and 16, basically, transition goals have to be put into place. But nothing really, other than updating of anything that needs to happen. Okay. All right. So Christina again. Okay. So I did that. Don't forget to click that link, guys, if you want me to see your picture. Okay. Hi, Bill. How are you? So Noun says, may I ask, do you know I can get service for my child if he's homeschool, not if you remove him from the school? So, no. Can he still be able to do that and not be enrolled? No, absolutely not. So if he's not enrolled in school, no. So you don't get anything. All right. We are still waiting from the school report since they did his evaluation in September 2021. The school psychologist called us this past weekend. She said she had to finish the report before she retired next month. Okay. Then we have Ashley, who says, my son is 5, severe ASD and nonverbal. He's supposed to start kindergarten in August. I'm so nervous because he needs care equivalent to that of a 1-year-old. How do I make sure he has services he needs? How do I know what to ask for? I know he will be sure at least sure at least need a one-on-one for his own safety. Good luck with that. But I don't know what all is appropriate to ask for. Where do I start? Okay. Well, one place you can start is my Rock the IEP course that takes you through my PPPN system, which is plan, prepare, present, persuade, negotiate. It walks you through the whole IEP process so you can process and understand what's going on, you know? Then, my membership site, it's been pushed back because I'm like perfectionist. And so I've been taking a while with the paperwork and documents, where you'll get 3 hours one-to-one with me, on a Zoom with other people. And I will be providing documents for you guys and the one-on-one and answer questions, on a more personal basis. You'll have set dates, that sort of thing. And then the recordings will be on the membership site for you to view if you can't make that live call. So that's a good thing. And then you'll be provided a ton of emails and documents. My first email, which is requesting like FERPA and records and, IEP meeting and all of that stuff. It's a good email. All right, a couple pages long. And it's what I sent out in the beginning. It's been updated. If you want, we can set up a discovery call. You can contact me. I'll post my WhatsApp information. You're in a golden spot. All right, Ashley, because you literally are starting at the right place where many of us wish we started. So you have a child that is going into school. You have a fresh start and you are in a beautiful place. All right. Now it's you understanding the IEP process, because you don't want to go in there and your first impression be you don't know anything. And they're going to run with that. All right. So you have to be careful. Let me pull this up for you. The WhatsApp information so that you can schedule a meeting with me and we'll talk and go over things. All right. So here's my personal link for WhatsApp. I'm going to post it in the comments. All right. So I posted it in the comments right here. All right. So if you guys need to contact me, come the beginning of February, I'll be taking on 2 to 4 more clients. Usually I'll take on clients. My spots fill up super fast. And then I take a month before I take other clients because of getting IEPs together. I'm, pacing myself this year because last year was a nightmare. This year is now becoming an even more nightmare. School districts are becoming, though we thought they were no people before, they're really no people now, and it's super frustrating to me. It's kind of, this year has probably, last year it was crazy, so busy I couldn't even think straight. But this year it's been depressing, because school districts have just been awful. I'm sure they've been through their own shit, but damn. I mean, the way that they're treating parents and the kids and, it's just crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I've heard teachers ranting and raving on Facebook and this, that, and the other. I get they're mad. I get they're frustrated, but there's some things that you just don't say. And it's frustrating. I was listening to my own school board meeting last night that was a shit show. And because it was when everybody was voted in the first meeting, they fired the superintendent without cause. And this was a superintendent, I must say, was decent. He wasn't horrible. Um, it was just a weird situation. Like literally the new chairperson came in, fired our superintendent without cause. No, with cause. No, without. So for no reason. And then possibly violated our state code because so I don't know all the ins and outs of the board, but I think it's like someone's supposed to second a motion or some shit. It's confusing. Like you got a second emotion, you got to this, you got to. I'm like, just vote, people. But anyway, you got to second some motion, and they didn't do that, and whatever, you know. So that's a little frustrating, and people are irate. You know, they're so angry. So that's where we are these days. It's not just my area. It's everywhere. Like teachers are oh, that was the other thing is the teachers while the um and this is where I fault teachers, and I'm not normally against teachers. I do not look at them highly when they choose to go by what the school district tells them to do, which is to be quiet, don't say much, etc., unless you're spoken to, blah blah blah. I don't respect that, you know. Um, and what I didn't respect was during the meeting, the monthly board meeting, teachers were saying like today they were going to go on some like it wasn't called a strike, it was called something else, like a sick something. And I'm like, this is sitting there going on while the superintendent was just fired without cause. And they're talking about going on strike. And who does that support? And who suffers? Not the parents, not the district, the kids. So it's like through this whole thing, we've got to be mindful of our actions and, you know, setting a tone, you know, and not just, you know, going with what is out there, you know, because that's just, you know, who's going to suffer with that? The child. All right. So this gung ho, oh, let's have, you know, I don't remember the word they used. It was just along the lines of we're all gonna team up and not show up at school tomorrow, you know? Um, and the fact that they formed a Facebook like page or group or whatever, and it became, you know, public, and that's just crazy, you know? All right, so let's get back to questions. All right. Yes. So it's at your own pace. It's 6 modules, 14 lessons, and it's extremely detailed. So I teach you my, I can now say, proven PPPN system, which is registered, trademarked. It's plan, present, plan, prepare, present, persuade, and negotiate. Only if you have to. But it teaches you the whole process. So you at least have that concept. All right. And then once you have the concept, it's building from that. And you're able to, you know, learn the laws and IDEA and state law, and really IDEA supersedes that. But, you know, you'll learn all of that. And then it's practice makes perfect, you know, of how you go about meetings. And, you know, I can say that most people who go into meetings and they're just sweet as pie don't typically get what is needed for their child. And even if they're given some things, it's not everything. And those some things are things that are to appease versus, hey, we're going to give you this because it's needed for your child. So, but message me and we'll talk about it. We can do a, you know, a discovery call and do all that. Plus, on top of that, I'm having a membership site come the end of the month as well, and lots of new stuff coming that will help and support you. then what I'm doing is I am going to be doing mentorships come spring. I would say like March, of anybody out there. So if you know anybody, let me know. I am going to be starting a sign up list where you can sign up and you'll get an email when things are going to start, where I will train you on how to become an advocate. I've gotten that question a lot. How do I become an advocate? Actually, it was on a teacher site. They were like, how do you do this? So if you're wanting to change careers, you're wanting to be an advocate, you're wanting to work from home, um, everything I do is virtual. If you're wanting to, no longer teach, or you're wanting to, quit whatever job you're at and advocate for children with special needs, then this is going to be for you. I will teach you all my ins and outs. You'll have the opportunity to connect with me, where you go to an IEP. Okay, it didn't pan out the way you wanted it to. All right. Maybe the child didn't get everything you wanted it to, you know? Um, and then you and I go back and forth on, well, why don't you go try this? Or why don't you go try that? You run into a bind, I'm going to be there. Now, it's not going to be 24/7, but it will be on a monthly basis where you will always be able to connect with me. And if there's a time limit, then, you can text me. So that'd be a good thing. I'm excited about that because that's much needed. And I think it's going to be a really good thing, because even though I'm going to stay doing IEPs, I'm really wanting to get out there and teach women specifically, no offense, Bill, how to advocate for their kids and to be badasses, and to, really truly, I love how that's my saying and my logo and that sort of thing, is become the CEO of your IEP. You should be leading that meeting. You know how they appoint somebody? You do that. You run that meeting. I let them do the whole, okay, let's go to this or that, or if a agenda is made and you contribute, then it can be followed. And you run that meeting. All right. Nobody else. Nobody knows your child any more than you. Okay. Cheryl says, I recommend Raven for that fresh start. Helped me so much with my son. Oh, thank you. So here is that link to my WhatsApp. All right. So it is in the chat. Okay. Ashley says, thank you so much. You are welcome. Christina says the librarian is watching them in the library. What? Are that mentorship sounds awesome. Yeah. So it's gonna VOM red. I don't know what that means. From somebody who's on, I guess that's like a hacker or something. So let's take them off. Block that user. All right. So Jay Welsh says, are they able to retain your child a grade if they are on an IEP? They can approach that with you. They can't just do it. You have to have a meeting and that sort of thing. Just like if you request it, that it's, in the proper way. All right. So they have to ask you, they have to provide you with a PWN, all of that stuff. So you don't have to worry, not know what's going on, all of those things. You just need to understand that those are the breakdowns, and that they will make a suggestion. It's not typical though. So I wouldn't even worry about that. I mean, unless you're wanting to retain and then you just request it from somebody within your administration. You have to go to administration for that, but you can send an email to the principal And then I would CC the director of special education, and I would just say, hey, I want to hold my child back a year, and then set up a meeting or whatever you need to do. All right. I think that's it. Is there any other questions that you have? And Ashley, yeah, you can go ahead and message me on WhatsApp. All right. And yes, I'm going to be coming live more, but I've just had, all the IEPs, that had to get cut off because of Christmas is, I've been like making it all up this month. It's been crazy. But next month it tones down a little bit. So I will be doing 4 more clients. Fills up very quickly. And we'll do that. So yeah. Okay. So if you're wanting, now's the time, for the spring to get your, formal evaluations, if that's what you need, getting, your child's IEP on point and where it needs to be, and, really honing in on cleaning up messes. That'd be a good thing. All right. And, really understanding that the present levels is everything. On my, who was that said miss seeing you? I can't even see your picture. Is that you, Kim? So here's the thing with that. When you think about it and you think about all the things that can go into play into the present levels, you have your evaluations, you have, certain things that your child likes, you have strengths, you have weaknesses and needs of what they need individually, and then where they're weak, whether that be double digit subtraction with regrouping, whatever it is. So make sure that you focus on that and you focus on what they need and go from there. Okay. I think that's it. I'm excited for you to get all the PDFs and stuff in the membership site. There's always going to be new stuff. It's going to be very simplified for you. And yes, keep posting your questions. I'll be on here another 5 minutes. I don't want to hold back its 3rd grade reading guarantee. Well, I don't know who guaranteed anything. Thank you for your response and great information. I don't know, want to hold back, and it's the 3rd grade reading is guaranteed. Be careful with that. Okay. Because nothing's guaranteed. All right. So that's important to remember. Puppy's sleeping. Let me see. All right. I got everything. All right. Any other last minute questions? I'm going to post some TikTok videos and do a TikTok video. If you have not followed me on TikTok, you've got to follow me on TikTok, guys. All right. I have so much fun on TikTok. Let me post one. But let me see if I can post the share my profile, copy link. Let me see. I'm going to try to post it. All right. comment. All right, I just shared it. All right. So follow me on TikTok. All right. Follow. It's fun stuff. Yeah, it's fun stuff. Okay. It is fun. So I'm posting one now. All right. I just posted another one. It's fun, guys. All right. It is posted. Okay. So follow me. All right. Instagram too. All right. Who has last minute questions? So post your questions in the group. Every week I will go and answer them. All right. So what I'll do is I'll do a recorded video and I'll say post your questions under here. And then you can post your questions under the picture or the video or whatever. And then next week I'll answer them all. Okay. So post, because I know you guys got questions. All right. All right. No one's commenting. Everybody's silent. I might go on live again a little bit later, maybe, I don't know, 5:30 or something. See who's on. Did everybody have a good holiday? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right. Yeah, we got to catch up, Cheryl. All right. So I posted the TikTok. Okay. So I will be posting a lot more coming up soon. Erin is finishing some stuff up for me. And so you'll be getting a lot of posts and a lot of information there. You'll be getting information from posts, just that will help incentivize you and what you're doing. And then I will be doing the Q&As to your questions. Okay. So that they get answered by me as well as all the other wonderful people on the group. Okay. So I guess that's it. There's a lot to say. I've been writing in my book. Let me see if I can get over here. No, it's like behind the computer. I've been writing in my book of all the topics I want to talk about, like on TikTok and on here, of issues that have just been unbelievable. And I'm ready to strangle myself. Because school districts are just horrible right now. Horrible. And, attorneys can't stand me. All right. So there's I had one in Arkansas, 2 in Illinois, 1 in Oklahoma, 1 in Texas. So Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, 2 in Illinois. I think that's it. I think that's it. Six maybe? Maybe there's another one? No? Maybe it's 6. But here's the funny thing is of the 6. Yeah, 6. All right. 1 was a due process. So 6. All right. That's not bad. All right. Out of 294 IEPs from August 2020 to August 2021. I haven't counted since. All right. I have that 1 year of COVID. And 6 attorneys, 6. Yeah, 6. Because 4 children are in one county in the same district that I have in Houston. So, yeah. So that's that. So again, 4 spots open for the month of February. So you want to get started now so you can get me all your documents and we're ready to go. All right. And basically it will be getting your IEP together and on point, any evaluations if you need them, your FERPA documents, and getting you ready for next year, but also getting you ESY and dealing with that. You know, we can't forget ESY. And, this is the time. There's always the time and the reason of the time and and that changes. But, you want to be mindful of that. All right. You have the chance to get your present levels, your goals, your everything in order right now. All right. And you've got to do it. You've got to. All right. You've got to stop wasting time and getting your child and get your child everything they need. All right. Whether you bring me on or you bring another advocate, hopefully they know their stuff, just please get your child's IEP on point and together and ready to go. And just please, because the more IEPs we get together, the more these kids are going to start progressing. And that's what we need, is these children progressing. Okay. All right. So I think I answered everybody's question. Contact me on WhatsApp. All right. That's in the link above. All right. And then in the link above as well is the recording information for me to see your pictures. And then someone asked me to post something. So all those links are above. Okay. All right. So I will be going live tomorrow. Tomorrow's crazy. I have, how many do I got? I have I don't tomorrow. I don't have an IEP tomorrow. So what I can do tomorrow is let's do a Kristen. Oh, I thought you posted. I had run it. Tomorrow we can do a coffee. What is that? How does that sound? If you want, post what time's a good time for you. But maybe, I don't know, 7, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We get together, all have our coffee, more than likely no makeup, and chat. I'll run through issues that I've had in the last 2 weeks in IEPs. You guys can comment to things that you've dealt with personally, and we'll have a conversation. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. Another thing that I can do is it would be the first come, first serve of the first, I think it's 50 or 100 people, where you can actually see me on Zoom. So we could do that too. And just have a chit chat, on the things that are important right now. I will not forget, just last week, was it this week? Might have been last week, where I'm going to take you guys with me because I'm going to grab some coffee. I'm getting so tired. I woke up at 3:30 this morning because I am OCD and I am very meticulous about I just spilled my drink. Hang on. About my IEPs. And so I had an IEP today, and I like to review the records again. I like to, make sure I follow kind of my own protocol, if you will, of, what needs to happen, what are the violations, if there are any, and all of that kind of stuff. And that's so important. I don't know about you guys, but it's really important to understand that when we do things on our own as parents, so like, I'll just give you an example. I'm making coffee. It's like that time of the day where I'm like, I need to go to sleep. I'll just give you an example of me. All right. So when I was going through hell, for 6.5 freaking years, and that's part of what, I know I've been talking over an hour, but you can get off if you want. But that's part of what made me who I am. I've been through a lot in my life, but I struggled as a single mom for years, and, I've been through the ringer, put myself through my master's, and, I'm definitely not anyone that has not had things hard, if anything, I learned the hard way. And that has made me a lot of who I am today, but it has caused that bitterness to IEP teams. And then even when I said this year, yes, I have a dessert for my coffee. My husband makes fun of me. All right. It's my coffee and the Keurig. And then I have the Ready Whip. And then I put cinnamon, and then I'm good to go. All right. That's how I make my coffee. My husband's like, that's a dessert. That's not coffee. No, it's coffee. All right. It's my friend in Seattle. She taught me to put cinnamon in my coffee. And I know it sounds weird, but I'm telling you, it's to die for. So bottom line, I haven't had it easy, and I'm 45 and my life is, put together now, but, it hadn't been, I say I grew up in my 30s, in my 20s, I wasn't growing up. I was still a kid, and anybody else in that same boat. But, and I was so focused on Skylar too. And, I was lied to so many times. I was, I was made to feel guilty all the time, like, just give her some time. I was even told by a psychologist, you need to get over yourself. She's not going to learn what. And then she went from, and this is unheard of, by the way, almost barely happens, where she went from a cognitive level and she jumped by 20 points, by 20. And that's unheard of. And she did. And this was after a psychologist said, you need to just get over yourself. She's not going to learn. And, finally I got to that point of like, I couldn't handle it anymore. Like going to IEPs, I would study, Google PhD, and I was so hyper focused on doing whatever I needed to do to make sure that she got what she needed, that it just took over my life, affected my other 2 kids because I was so focused on Skylar and her needs and the IEP and trying to figure it all out myself and not having help. And, it was one of those things where everybody had a freaking opinion and none of those opinions worked in the meeting. Some helped, but if you don't know, what I've realized is if you don't know the law and you don't understand that you have to put, it's like, how I said this the other day to somebody. It's like Batman's the good guy, or you're your nice self, right? In everyday life. All right. Well, it's like if you're Batman and you like got to put on the freaking Joker when you go into the damn meeting, like I could not be at all who I was, it was weird, at first, because I had to change. I felt like I couldn't be human, because if I was transparent and, in the sense of like gave them the benefit of the doubt and, was understanding and loving and, caring. We just finished day 3 of remote learning with my kinder. Did it while having a 3-year-old at home as well. I need to try. I'm praying his school district is still in person when his quarantine is. Yeah. Skylar's home all freaking month. Because, yeah, I'm not cut out for homeschooling. I know some people are. More power to them. I can't do it. But anyway, I just can't handle the stress the school district does. And, I think it's funny because Karen, special education boss that I was telling you about, who's amazing and I love her. She was saying how a school district said, she said something about like, you don't have grace, or they basically told her, she wasn't nice. I cannot tell you how many times that's been said to me. I'm rude. I attack the staff. Do you know I've never personally attacked anybody? Ever. What I have done is I ask questions that you don't like, that is getting to the bottom of the problem that you don't want to answer. And so all of a sudden I'm attacking because you don't like where I'm going with my question. And if you answer that question, I'm going to know a lot of information. And so I've found that, and I'm sure, a couple people who I've worked with that are on here can vouch for that. That if I ask a question that is because that's how I am. I've learned that through the years, where you ask questions, you don't make statements in IEPs. So why is my child not making progress? They say what they say. Well, that's not a reason. And okay, per idea, my child has to make progress. Why are you not making progress with my child? What are you doing that is not working? And so that's an attack. No, it's not. It's if you're not doing something right, you need to change it. If it has to do with my kid, then I have a right to ask that question. If you feel attacked by that, you need to go to counseling or whatever it is you need to do to go deal with whatever your personal feelings are. But if it has to do with my child, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to ask the damn question. That's not attacking anybody. What is not being done right? What are you doing wrong? You're the one working with my kid. Should I say, what is the wall doing wrong? If speech isn't working for your child, are you going to say, hey, OT, what are you doing wrong? Something is not being done right. Something has to change. If you don't have the goal to ask those direct questions to get to the root of the problem, you're never going to get the answer. You're always going to be wondering, what's going on? Why isn't my child making progress? I don't know what's going on. They won't tell me. I hear that stuff all the time. But if you don't have the gusto to ask the question, because you're going to be told that you're attacking somebody, kiss it, y'all. they can kiss it for real. Because I'm not going to stop asking questions, and I'm not going to stop advocating for kids, and I'm not going to stop trying to figure out, as anybody would, what the problem is. If a child's not making progress, I'm going to ask all the questions I need to ask to make sure I figure out what I need to do in order for them to make progress and what needs to change and what needs to happen. I have school districts who play this game where, in my consent, it's there to CC me and the parent, etc. And most of them do. All right. Because it's not required by law, but most of them do. I would say 95%. Okay. Well, I piss them off and they go back to their little game. They email the parent then forwards it to me. I then respond and we play this circled game. All right. But what they don't realize is it doesn't affect me. You're ruining the relationship with the parent. They're an equal team member, people. Okay. And if they're requesting something so simple as that, and you can't respect that because you get pissed off at their advocate or whatever, you don't like the fact that you're actually having to be accountable for the shit you do, because I hold them accountable. I've been held accountable for everything in my life. I expect you to be accountable for everything that you're doing to a child's life. That's it. I don't care whose fault it is. I care about what's being done wrong, and I care about you making right by it. I don't care whose fault it is, unless they harmed the child in like some serious way, like intentionally or something crazy. But in all reality, I won't go pointing fingers, because in all reality, who gives a crap? What I care about is if you're screwing up and a child's not making progress and a child's, not being given the right. Do you know it's an OCR violation if your child's not given the, say your child's nonverbal, okay? If your child's nonverbal and they're not given the proper services in order to meet their needs, that's the same type of OCR violation as if they didn't give a service that is in their IEP. It's the same thing, because they're now being denied a service that they need for their disability. It's like an ADA violation as well. So, you have to advocate for your kids. The stuff that I've dealt with is what's made me who I am today. And as you advocate, you're going to see it more and more. And the more you advocate and are setting that tone, the more and more you're going to see it. And I'll tell you this. All right, here's some tips. Number 1, if there's anything I'm going to tell you, you want to listen to this. Fear will cause your child to pay the price. Screw fear. I am not kidding. I don't care what they say to you. 99.99999% of the time, it's bullshit. Okay? You ask for an IEE. They want to take you. It's happened a lot lately. And I tell my parents, don't you dare give up. Seriously, I sound just like that. All right? Because they get all scared. Oh my God, they're taking me to due process over the IEE. Okay, maybe I should just not do it. Maybe I should do it with my insurance, right? No. If you give up, what does that say to them? This parent's a joke. They're not going to stick by anything that they say. Pfft, y'all don't mean nothing at that point. You ever let that guard down one time and you are done. You are French toast. I'm sure you can build that again. But I was finally taken serious when I started making complaint after complaint after complaint after complaint, to the point where I made myself batshit crazy, because I was done allowing them to screw my daughter over. I had to change my thinking, because I at first took it as like a personal attack on me, when in reality, I didn't look at it like at first, oh, this is Skylar. She's the one who's suffering and not progressing because of the crap that's being done. And finally, when I realized I had to have an I don't care attitude is when I started making progress. And that's sad. That's not how I want to be. It's not how I want to carry myself. Now, granted, back in the day, I didn't care about nothing. I just did what I wanted to do. I was selfish. I mean, like any young person, but I took it probably to another level. I'll be honest. But that's not who I am today. And I do not like who you have to become to get things done. Because, I said to myself at the beginning of this year, because of last year, I said, okay, so I'm going to start being nicer. I even, talked to the teams. I had conversations with the directors, stuff like that. And I was like, I'm going to start this year out good. And I'm going to change it up. I'm always trying to do better and improve, and I'm always learning. I had a great conversation. I actually paid for a highly sought out attorney to mentor me. And he gave me a case, man. You want me to read this to you? I haven't heard you guys comment. If you're going to comment, go ahead and comment. Across the board is, how I can see your comments, but I'll also get you what you need to. All right, hold on. The link on there on the chat now is the last one is for WhatsApp if you need to contact me. So feel free to contact me on WhatsApp. That's the easiest way. But I'm posting right now what's scrolling across the screen. And you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook if you're on my, see, it's right here, StreamYard.com/Facebook. If you're on my personal page personal page or group. I'm not sure about YouTube and the page. You don't have to, I don't think. Okay. So you have to click that and then I'll be able to see you when you make comments. So I did that and I realized that literally from the get-go, it didn't work. Me reaching out to the attorneys and districts. I've only dealt with six attorneys. What did I say earlier? 2 in Illinois, 1 in Texas. 2 in Illinois, 1 in Texas. What was it, guys? 2 in Illinois, 1 in Texas. 1 in Arkansas. 1 in Tennessee. And then I know there's 1 more. So 6 out of 296 IEP meetings from August 2020 to August 2021, 6. And that's to today's date. That's not bad. All right. But some of them I'm still dealing with because I have 2 kids in those areas. But there are cases where the school district can't, that they know they're wrong. Everybody else, even the directors, they are, even though I said, look, I want to do things different. I want to get along with you guys. I want the best for this child. I want us to, do this together, et cetera, et cetera. And of course they said their piece and, and then what happens? Nothing. They don't do what they're supposed to do. they refuse services and things like that for the children. I'm not going to be nice to that. You want to work together, you want to be a team, you want to collaborate, I'm all in. But if it's this no nasty attitude of we're not putting any money out, one of the two biggest things are, one, services, specifically OT and speech. That's number two. Number one is reading intervention. And of course, one-on-ones are always difficult, but they're actually not as hard as the other two. Because if a child really needs a one-on-one, it's not hard to prove. But with reading intervention or, speech or OT, those are hard, even if the child needs it. Why right now? Because they're fighting it to a T right now. I mean, it's like so difficult. You just got to fight and fight and fight and fight and fight. Because if you don't, you're going to get nothing, if not less. Like this one parent posted, they want to take her child from an IEP to a 504. Why? Because they don't have to put any money out. Zero. You don't have to put money out for modifications and accommodations. You have to put money out for IEPs and the things that children need. And that's how it is. Schools aren't wanting to. No, baby. Come here. Come here. You don't want to, come here. Say hi to everybody. Yeah, say hi. Say hi, everybody. This is Leo. He bites on everything right now. Where's a toy of yours? Let's get a toy. Here, bite on the bear. Look, see the bear? So just keep that in mind, guys. Now is the time you have to get your IEP in order. And you're fighting with these districts more than anything. And granted, I hope there's people out there that are not dealing with this stuff. But I can tell you, most people are. And most people are hitting that wall and not knowing what to do. And dealing with all these things, And then on top of that, even though they have justification for it, teachers are mad and angry. And, some are mad because of wearing masks. Some are mad because of not wearing masks. Some are mad because of being in school and not virtual. So, you have all this stuff going on. You have very limited service providers. It's a mess. It is a mess. And yet our kids still need things. And I mean, I bet you guys, we might go back into quarantine and have to do virtual. And think about how that was last year for so many. It was a nightmare. And then our kids get even more and more and more behind. So I'm saying this to you because you got to get your IEPs in order now, so that if that happens, at least your services and everything is in place that you need to have in place, because you do not have to agree to a alternative plan, okay? A virtual plan, whatever it is they want to call it. Okay. Oh, if we go to virtual, your child will only get 1 day a week of speech instead of 3. No, don't agree to that. You do not have to agree to that. Okay. Like I said to a school district the other day, they said, oh, well, we have to have something in place. Okay. You can have whatever you want in place, but you ain't changing my child's IEP. I wasn't talking about my child. It was somebody else's. But, you're not changing my child's IEP just because you have to have a contingency plan and, everything in place because of COVID. That ain't my problem. Go ahead, put a plan in place. Your plan has to do with how things are going to be virtual. How are your teachers going to teach? How are you going to provide them information? How are you going to be prepared this time? Not if that all children with special needs IEP goes to shit. Right? All right, I'm done talking. It's been an hour and a half. So I will be going live tomorrow. All right. And post below if you have any questions. I'm probably just going to do a morning thing tomorrow. Coffee with me. Okay. Come with your coffee. And, we'll chat. We'll talk about things that are going on today. Maybe take the night, write some questions down. I'll make a post, saying, post below, some of your questions. And, I know people have questions, so ask them. Okay. And then we will talk about it and we'll go from there. All right. But I want your questions to be answered. I want you to know what is right and what is not, and what is allowed and what is not. And we'll go from there. Okay. Because that's so important for you to know, because that's when you're going to win, is not win as in win, but win as in get your child what they need. And that happens when you know the law. Idea. I'm getting a book that's coming in on Saturday. I'm so excited. And it is like every statute and everything you possibly need. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's, I am, Sky. Let me see if I can see. Puppy! All right. Then I'm going to get off here. Okay, guys. All right. Everything's going crazy here now. All right. It's the Title IV Education Code of Federal Regulations. I'm so excited. All right. So I can't wait to share that all with you. So we will talk soon. I will be on tomorrow. We'll have coffee together. No makeup. And we will have some good times. Okay. So I will talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful evening. And post your questions below. Remember, I have 4 spots open come February. So contact me on WhatsApp. Or if you want to set up a free just discovery call consultation because you want some questions answered. All right. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.